here.
Before we get any further, because I want to be respectful of their time, we have the combo of Flonora Merritt and Myleack Williams, who make up Blerd Campus, here in the building to talk about Blerd Campus. What's going on, Flonora? Myleack, what's happening?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey. Right. Doing all right. About y'all?
I'm doing good. I had my coffee to recharge after teaching, so I'm ready.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. I would hand you a shot if I knew what you drunk, because you said you an educator. Just woo.
Ooh, yeah.
I say that all the time. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
But we commend those who look like us to be in those classrooms to give those things that no one else will give. I want to shout out. I want to say his New Age King on IG. I have to look his thing up, his handle up. But he was teaching young black men how to fix cars, and me and Spartan were just talking about how these are vocations that they've taken out of schools.
They completely disappeared.
Yeah.
It's truly fascinating, because the students that I work with, we're in an age where they don't want to just work for somebody else. They want to be entrepreneurs. You know, I have plenty of young ladies that know how to do nails, hair, makeup, fashion, and then I have my team of photographers that are just building their portfolio and killing it. And that's like kind of the part of the reason why me and Myleack work together to build Blerd Campus, just so that we can create a platform to help entrepreneurs provide the resources they need.
So talk to me more about Blerd Campus, because me and Myleack had a discussion, and we're all in the same chat, and I like what's being built. Okay, so talk to me about Blerd Campus.
You want to go, Flo, or me?
Well, I think it should be you, because it is your idea.
Right.
I just gave you, the platform, microphone. We did an interview, and we immediately just bonded. But this is Myleack's brainchild, for real.
Yeah, we have the same goals, though. Don't sell yourself short, because you want to see your students succeed. So that also kind of inspired me to come up with this basically social network, in the sense of training people how to be influencers. Because instead of like knocking them down, it's like, oh, well, I want to do social media. You don't go, well, that's not a feasible career. Do something else. No, you teach them what they need to do and what they need to know to be in these rooms that we need desperately people in these rooms. So I was tired of people shooting down creators and not teaching them that, hey, you need to go ahead and have a good market. You need to go ahead and advertise. You need to go ahead and do everything you need to go ahead and do to make yourself that next level platform.
Right.
Hey,
I think what they miss, and this is a lot of up and coming influencers or creators who want to use social media, right? What a lot of them miss is it's work. Whether you're going to be a creator, whether you're going to be an influencer, whether you're some kind of entrepreneur, it takes work. Social media is a tool if you use it correctly, right? And
exactly,
I think a lot of them miss that. Oh, if I make this one TikTok video, I'll hit. No, that's not how it works. You gotta put in some hustle, and a lot of them don't see that. And when I seen your makeup and everything that was going on, like, Flo has writers. She's like they have writers for some of their blogs and everything, and it's just like these are tools to help them in the interview processes, to help them talk to people, to help them write articles, because we've seen Spartan, Tafari, myself, we've seen some articles where we just put our head in our hand and like, this ain't it. This ain't it.
From a journalism standpoint, I just get annoyed. It's like, did you even double check before you put this out here?
Spell check was the double check.
There's the spell check, and then it's just like the information is completely wrong. Like, like it was someone who said they did an article on shows that have spinoffs, and they said that Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff of Cheers, and I'm like, that is so far from the truth.
I was say, is that not
quick Google search?
I mean, thank you. A simple Google search would have solved this entire problem.
It was like this. I went on a whole breakdown of like, This is wrong. This is all wrong.
Mhm.
We live in an age where it's all about getting that content out as quickly as possible. And a lot of people don't do their due diligence to make sure they fact check. Like, even with me, I admit, like, there's sometimes I may miss something because from like an event, and someone would DM me to make the correction, and I have no problem, making it.
Mhm.
It's just that simple. But some people are just not about that. They're just about the clicks and likes, and it's
Mhm.
diminishing journalism. For
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And that's what I think and I love about Flo, because she takes journalism so serious, it's like her child. So she's not, if she makes a mistake, she's human. But I don't see any mistakes often. That girl, you are an amazing journalist.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. You deserve that because
We
you put so much
we
work.
need more like that.
And that's
Yes.
the goal for us. Like whatever you want to do, it's not just influencers and social media content creators. That's how we're going to raise the money. But we're also doing stuff behind the camera, like trying to do internships and trying to do programs and stuff like that too. So we're doing a little that we can now, starting out, so people can understand. Okay, this is not just people that just want to go around and make content. They want to make a difference while making content.
Do you find it difficult finding those people who want to make that difference and willing to put in the work?
Extremely.
It's kind of mixed for me because I'm tight with a lot of my students that were part of my journalism program and Friendship News Network. I'm like, we're still in a group chat together and giving updates. And they, as soon as I told them that I was doing my own publication, they were like, "Miss Mary, please let me have you on. Please have me on your podcast. Like, let me just work with you." Da, da, da. They don't even care about the pay, which I'm just like astounded, because I do want them to be rewarded for their hard work. Because this is
Mhm.
a very intense job. Like, there's a lot that goes into it.
But you gotta love the fact that they're more eager than they are aware, if that makes sense. Like the whole idea is that's why I love when like I said, I love teaching kids, but I love the fact when it's like they want to learn more at the given time than what you're teaching, and it's like, okay. It kind of throws you off. It threw me off the first time it happened to me, where it's like, oh, I want to learn more about computers and how do you build them? How do you program them? And I'm like, I'm just here to replace a cable, but I mean, if you want to learn, but like Mike was saying, like you were saying, you want to instill that, you want to instill the skill, cool, but you also want to instill the discipline behind it. It's like I can teach you, but you also have to develop these ethics behind it. So therefore, it's going to serve you in the long run. So I definitely get where you're coming from on that.
Oh yes, and I first of all just shout out to them, because it's like there's so many people that I reached out and they were immediately responsive and on board. So shout out to, hold on, there's so many. It's like Michael, Braylon, Lachey, Tanae, Alex, Tyler, Saquon, Marcel. Like, thank you guys so much for really being a part of this journey. I'm just so astounded, and they're like really dedicated and talented. Like, I wouldn't. It's just such a pleasure to really work with them. I've seen what they've done at a high school level, so I'm like on pins and needles to see what they come with as they're like going into college and majoring in business, photography, media, broadcast, things like that. So shout out to them.
I came from an age where we had Mr. Rogers, LeVar Burton, Bob Ross, Miss Frizzle at the time, and they liked showing these things that people normally don't get to talk about. Going to the library, reading the books. Shout out to LeVar Burton, because he's like, read banned books, because they're banning books that talk about our history. So shout out to people who are fighting the good fight and still putting in the work. So how does it feel knowing that you seem to step into that realm of teaching? Like it carries over very well in the Blerd and nerd space very well, and entertainment space, because people need to understand. Hence that article I read. You need to learn to read.
Reading is so fundamental.
Right.
So fundamental.
So how does it feel knowing that you have a role in a lot of these kids' lives, and they go on to do, hey, I'm going to write this article, or I'm going to become this influencer and be able to do this because my goal to influence is to do XYZ. It's not just to get myself inside of a cosplay magazine or an article. It's to get that brand. In perfect example, Hellspawn Cosplay. He's been cosplaying for just a short amount of time, but with that short amount of time, all it took was one major cosplay to kind of put it over the top, and people really noticed it. He used that platform to start Blerd and Powerful. And that platform is now putting eyes on Black-owned conventions, and is putting eyes on businesses that normally would not get seen. So when you have Blerd Campus doing the work, how does that make you two feel?
You want to go first, Flo?
Yeah. It's very rewarding. It's funny that you brought up Miss Fizzle, because that's actually my nickname to a lot of the students. Just because
I learned from telling stories from watching Dave Chappelle, so I knew I had seen some stuff, and I'm like, oh wait, that's Miss Frizzle. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, but I had this similar aesthetic. But it's just very rewarding, and it makes me proud. Like at my high school, we have a day called Alumni Day, where the alumni come back and actually have conversations with our students. And then when you hear a lot of their stories and what they're doing now, and they come back to you and saying like, "I do this because of you." That is like pure jerker. I know you need it, and it's just like it puts a battery in my back, because a lot of times when you're in the thick of it and you're dealing with like so many things as a teacher, it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But when the alumni come back and tell you like how impactful you have been, it's just like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is like the purpose. This is the mission, and it's like it's a great reminder.
So now you guys just started Blerd Campus this year, right? It
Yeah.
officially this year.
This year.
No, yes.
What is the goal 6 months from now? Let's just throw a number out there. 6 months from now.
So to have influence, at least be able to market themselves. I do clothing, so at least to have clothing lines come up with their own revenue stream, so they're not left out in the water. Because I understand that you got to put the work in, but I also want them to see that vision at the end of the tunnel. That okay, hey, you have a clothing line already. You have a collection that I helped you design that people can go ahead and purchase. You have the right steps. You have the right tools. All I need you to do between now and those 6 months, build community. That's our goal, because I don't like social media in the sense of it's being the be all end all. Social media is a valuable asset, but you wouldn't go fix a car with just a screwdriver. You need more tools in your resume, like community, marketing ability, speaking ability. That's the one that kills me. People forgot how to speak and read. I don't understand how that happens. But there's tools that they don't think they need, because once a video goes viral, they're like, well, I made it. I'm like, no, they don't know your name. They know you for, I don't know, falling in a vat of flour or something. I don't know what they know you for, but like whatever that one thing that they have you known for, that's what you're going to be to them. And you can't leverage that, because more is like a funny moment, a meme, a TikTok. That's not leverage. That's, hey, you're the cool guy in town for about like 3 weeks until something else happens.
And you hit that nail on the head, right? That part right there. It's like, once you go viral, then what? Once you have the spotlight, then what? I like the fact that you sat there and said you want them to establish a media presence. You want them to establish their brand. You want to establish revenue. I'm like, dude, that right? All three right there. Not only for social media, but just for life in general. It's like you can navigate so many avenues if you have those tacks in mind. That's why I was like, well, I was over here because my son was screaming mama, so that's the reason I was muted. But at the same time, that's exactly what I love that should be taught, because next generation actually catches on to that. We're good. That's all I keep telling folks. If the next generation catches on to these next set of skills, we got nothing to worry about.
Like, don't do the next hot dance.
Right.
It's not necessary.
Make the next hot dance.
Make
The innovator.
do
At least trademark it. Get it before Fortnite steals it.
Right. Right.
Trademark it before Fortnite gets it.
I think what I enjoyed most about seeing things on social media is you have to play with this algorithm. It sucks. It sucks. But once you have an angle on it, say like you want to just know about comics, might be an avid comic collector, and you might like hearing about certain books that just came out and they do breakdowns or whatever. You get enough of those, that's all you'll get.
Right.
You know, and a lot of them don't understand. And I'll just use the clock app as that example. A lot of them don't understand. Oh man, they just scrolling. Oh, Jamaican black oil. Okay, scroll. Oil pulling. Okay, scroll. And it gets boring, gets tiring, and we're not in the age anymore of the pandemic.
Right.
You know, that was 2.5, almost 3 years of you're stuck indoors. What else do? You can't go anywhere. You can't really do much anymore. We're not in that age anymore. And so now those who are trying to get on this train on social media, like the NPC thing, drove me bananas.
That was just a unsub test waiting to happen.
Get your money, black people. I'm just not gonna click on while you do it.
There's no substance to it. I was just like, what are we gaining from it? I know it's like it's funny, but it's just kind of meaningless. And like, I know there's like so many other content creators that are actually talking about like real things, and just to kind of see that kind of overshadow everything was a bit disheartening.
Yeah.
And see, Flo comes in from an educational side. I come at it from a comedic side. I don't know what y'all were doing. Just standing there as NPCs. Like, do you really want to play the video game as an NPC? Like, let me make a video game and then say the only thing you can do is be the NPC. Would y'all really play it? No, y'all get bored. So, like, why would you want NPCs in real life? It makes no sense to me.
But then it goes back into the trend thing. It's like that's the reason why, as Chris says, we have to learn how the algorithm works. So I can't stand the algorithm because I think the algorithm is set between twerking and stupid. Like if it's twerking, it catches. If it's stupid, it catches. If it's a challenge of any sort, it catches. But say, for instance, if you decided that let me give you a one-on-one on how to build yourself on a social media platform, you might get to 5 people and then it goes downhill.
And see, this is why I'm big on community, because trends die, community lasts. So I don't like. I mean, me and Flo was just talking about this yesterday. She was like, "Well, why don't you post more on the social media page that we have?" I'm like, Flo, the influencer's job is when they come on board to see how many people they can gauge in real life, and then I'm gonna test them. Okay, how many followers you can go ahead and get on this page? Go. I'll count it. And I'll be like, that's how much support you have on everything that you do. You need to go look at your numbers and look at your content and evaluate what you're doing. Either you're very viral to a point where you're known around the community because you go out to cons, you go out to parties, cosplay, you're familiar, or you're just sitting at the house making cosplays, doing makeup, not doing nothing, probably twerking, doing dances, but it's not going to get anywhere because you don't have a community behind you. You can be pretty as ever, but if nobody knows who you are, they ain't going to care. They're going to swipe up.
That's in that part. And that part is the part I think that's the disconnect that they miss, is that they're so used to being behind the keyboard that you realize you still have to get out in the world and make these real world connections, because it's only so much you can do behind the keyboard. Right. You can run the boards all day, but once you're done, you have to be able to go out, whether it's a con, whether it's a function, whether it's just a networking event, and talk to other people. And that's the key that they're missing is like you said, Flo, is the talking to people part, and not knowing, hey, I need to talk to some people who might be able to get me in other rooms that otherwise I couldn't reach in this area. Like if you're in a comic book convention, you can run into some artists, some other cosplayers, some workshop people, of course. But if you went to a networking event, let's just say you go to a business networking event of any kind in your city, you might run into somebody who's in the same realm, but on the other end, they might be a banker, or they might do something that, hey, I can help you flip this. I run a business, or I help this person run a business. So now you can transfer it, right? You could transfer that knowledge somewhere. It's a way to do it. So I think they missed that mark. They missed that connect. It can't just be one thing. You have to learn to just cast the net, I guess you could say, and go from there.
Right.
And like, yeah, and again, that's why you said the whole meeting people in person. I'm gonna be honest, and I've already never told you this, Flo, but honestly, this will never happen without you.
Aww.
So it would never, because I would never have the same intuition. You are a CEO in a teacher's body. So I am so proud to have her as my partner, because she encapsulates all those things that you just said, and maybe a million more times over.
Yeah, I'm a very like introverted person. But I've learned that it's always best to, like, we didn't even meet like a networking event. We just met at like a plus ultra party.
Yeah.
And just like bonding over an open bar in ramen. And just started like just
Girl,
talking.
you can say it. We ain't that famous yet. Getting drunk as shit, eating ramen.
Those be the best ones, though.
I don't see the problem.
I ain't never knew what an open bar was, okay, until I got there. I got one drink. So I was like, you can get more than one, right? I'm like, really?
Yeah, it's like open bar. Like, if you paid, you were good. Yeah.
I don't go to nice things like open bars, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm business smart, but I'm a tad bit ghetto, so I ain't never been to no open bar. I don't know what that is. I know you gotta pay for everything. You just can't be going up and grabbing stuff.
See, this is why when you watch those old 90s movies, them action movies, and they say you have to go with the Yakamoto clan over to the strip club. Why? Because we need this business deal. They want to make sure you ready to get loose and do business at the same time.
And that is my job.
Right. I just met like so many interesting people just by going out and like kind of mustering up the courage to be like, hey, would you like to do an interview with me? And it just blown up from there. So it's just for those, because I work with a lot of like introverted students. It's like, it's okay. It's just like, test the waters out. You never know who you can bump into. Like you said earlier, it's the matter of just like putting yourself out there.
I think and I'm glad we're touching on the introvert part, because I started Blerd's Eye 2020, March of 2020, which was the weekend the world shut down.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I was press at the time it was called Wizard World Cleveland, and I was there as press, and my goal was to talk to Phil Lamar, Tyler Hoechlin, who we could never catch because he was always in the panel, and it was a couple other people we spoke to, and it was like, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "I'm nervous, but if I don't get this done, it ain't gonna get done."
Right.
I'm like, I didn't just do it just to look at it. I'm going to get this done, and then went in and got it done, got the interview, locked it in. I'm good. Like, because then after that, I'm just like, everything else is a shoe-in, because if I went after the biggest target, everything else should just fall right in place. And it did, and I know it's easy for me to say that, but I know there's a lot of people who are introverted who don't have the talking skills or know how to spark up conversation, and I blame that on a lot of things. It's not just one, it's not just one thing,
because some people can be real mean and nasty. You know what I mean? So it makes it like harder for people to go out there, because like I always say, the worst thing, because I have my students go out and do interviews like in public, like you can walk up to people and ask, and like the worst thing they can do is just say no, and that's okay to move on. Have they had some run-ins with some rude people? Yes. Have I had to calm them down so they don't have an adverse reaction to it? Yes. It is a value life skill to deal with rejection. But you have people as nice as like Phil Lamar, who is very approachable. I had my student interview him as well, and he was like so nice. Like he is this, icon in voice acting. in the comedic world. But he is just like such a sweet person, and that gives like a little bit more faith in humanity. I know that's kind of hard for us to like really grab, because if we deal with the comment section,
Oh,
it's like oh, your faith dies a little bit. But when you actually go out and speak with people, it's just like, okay,
so
person was cool.
this is my advice to those who read the comment section and get a little glimpse. There's two ways you can do this. This is two ways you can address this. Now, I come from an era where we played the dozens. We talk shit with the best of them.
Oh no.
So you would either get into a battle of words, which can be a bad thing because you have these people who hide behind the keyboard to be the tough guy, right? Or you can just delete. I need to find that John Witherspoon delete.
I'm gonna tell y'all one better how I deal with the comment section. I don't know y'all remember when Cat Williams was like, the strong strain of weed. He was like, just fuck them likes. That's how I feel about those comments. Take a fuck them comments. I don't give a damn. You don't support me. Oh,
I mean,
like, comments supposed to do.
Comments just mean that you're engaging. Comments mean that you're being seen. That's the way I look at it. Like,
you gave me views and money, so okay, you don't like it, bye. See you later or never again. It's not my problem.
I've walked away a winner on both ends.
Start playing that Toby Maguire and follow me. Just your sake and mine.
Would you say you don't have to be here? I'm like, it's not, I didn't drag you here,
right?
So you want to be able to get out there in 6 months. Have that presence in the community, because you guys are located in the DMV area, correct?
Right.
Are we talking national now?
Yeah, we've been talking national.
Yeah,
that's always been the strategy.
See, I like the way me and Myleack had spoke the other day. So like, Myleack's a go-getter. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, I'm the type of person where I'm just gonna go do it. I don't care. I'm gonna figure out how to do it, what I need to do it, and go ahead and do it. Because why am I sitting here thinking about it?
Right. It's very refreshing. I have attempted to work with other people that, or at least have come to me with ideas and say like, oh, we thought you could do this. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm ready to go. Like, as soon as you say I have people that I know that are willing to work with me to get this done, and then just fall through or it never happens. So what I really appreciate about Myleack is that as soon as he had the idea, we were already like talking back and forth to make it happen, even though I was out sick. I was
she was knocked out.
It was the worst timing. Like, I had caught COVID, and I was out for that like whole week, but I was still like trying to hang in there with the messages. It's like, that's great. Yeah,
she was out.
So, but like, he was just on everything, like trying to find grants, still recruiting people, like really holding it down while I was like attempting to recover. So I again appreciate you like so much,
girl. I gotta do this because this is needed. Like, I even got merch on. Okay, I got my own merch.
He did the mock-ups already.
I got my own merch.
He said he like,
he
said it like, I'm not here playing. I'm not here.
No, we are not playing. I don't got time for that.
So I like you guys' energy. I really do. And Flo was giving me Miss Janine vibes. Like,
that's what I said too. I love it from Abbott.
She's giving me Miss Janine vibes, and I love it because you're doing so. This is why me and Spartan commended you on the job you have, because it's they talk about the soldiers. Don't get me wrong. My son was a soldier, so was my daughter. But you guys are. It is a position that is thankless. Being in education is a thankless job because you are molding minds, and not to the standard of a school, but to be in the standard in community. You're just trying to get people to build correctly and to do things in the correct fashion and to be kind and whatever the case may be, and not be a dick.
Right,
as Spartan normally says, so that way you don't incur these problems in adulthood. So you're dealing with something, but you guys are doing something amazing. They can be found at Blerd_campus on IG.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up. I'll be posting up their flyer that they're looking for more influencers and more people. And Neon Noir Vibes is yours, Flo. Myleack Williams is yours.
Yes.
And this here's the crazy thing. I didn't know Flo's name. I just knew her as Neon Noir Neon Vibes, and I just like, oh, that's Miss Frizzle. Okay, cool. That's cool. So when I seen the sign up, and I'm like, well, who's Flonora? I'm like, I don't know who that is. But,
so we gonna make you some Miss Frizzle shirts, Flo. That's the next thing for merch.
Yeah,
Miss Frizzle.
I do like the blend of Miss Frizzle and Miss Teagues with the outfit.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I enjoyed that nickname so much. When I took my students to AwesomeCon, I even dressed as her. So I have the cosplay. So it's like I really took that moniker to heart. And again, it's just like actually it's another funny thing. On an episode of Miss Frizzle, they do like a news broadcast, and it's called FN, which is the same moniker as our journalism program, Action News Network. And I thought that was like, okay, this is kismet. It fits.
Yeah, but the Black Miss Frizzle just fits so nicely as a title for you, honestly. Because I was like, I can't stop now not seeing that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we even talked about it. I was like, if I was anybody from Abbott, I'd be Ava. I don't know why.
I was a substitute, so I'm definitely Gregory.
Right.
Oh my God! No, it just dawned on me that Miss Janine Tiggs is the Black Miss Frizzle. She's just in the Phillies. She's just in the Philadelphia school system. That's
right. Yep. I absolutely.
She ain't got a bus yet. She's just trying to get it.
Yeah, and that's like I appreciate it so much because it shows like the passion educators have, even though we may not always have the resources to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like that's the biggest struggle. We have a lot of talented scholars, and we have like these big plans and ambitions, and it's like you really have to be creative and like pull resources out of nowhere to make things happen. So that's why I really do appreciate that show, Abbott Elementary.
But I can say one thing about her though, that she's not like Janine. She is cultured in the culture, okay? So she is, because we was talking about the Megan Nikki stuff. She is cultured. She got her. She surprised me. I'm like, girl, you might look like Janine, but you got culture. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it helps to have a lot of culture.
Exactly. Because I love Janine, but Janine a little. This is some seasoning.
I mean, look at her mom. Cut us some slack.
You say she didn't cook. The greens didn't cook long enough. It's just a little bit long.
No, they
ain't exactly
right
tender
out the
yet.
oven. Didn't season it or nothing. Just put it on the plate. Here you go.
Not unwashed greens. Not unwashed greens.
Yeah, unwashed greens. It's giving unwashed greens energy. But no, she's very hip. So, like I said, she a cool teacher.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So we definitely need more.
We do.
Right. I'll always stress that.
We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about the news. Can you guys stick around for a minute?
Yeah, I would stick around longer.
Look at that. Okay. Look at God.
Plus, you said you low staff, so right now I'll substitute.
Hey.
All right.
There's opening. I'll take
tag in.
Look,
hey, right.
My second in command, she's studying, getting rest and everything else. She's like, hey, don't get too happy now. We'll be right back.